Hi, Aaron, you there?
Yes, I know.
Okay, we just give a couple of more minutes for everyone to join. Hello, everyone. We're just waiting for a few more people to join before we start. Hello, everyone. Just give us a couple of more minutes for a few more guys to join in. All right, let's kick off the session. So we have, as per before, we have Sachin um, joining as a advisor to learn together to learn in the series with Palantir Foundry. I also have Aaron from my team. He has presented one of the last session. So we're just continuing on the previous session and building on top of what we are doing. So fourth session from where we are, we started from just explaining what Palantir is. Then we started talk about the how to get data into Palantir, and the last session was the ontology, which sits in between, and all the connections on the data happened. And the session is focusing on how we start building analytics on top of ontology. So ontology is kind of the middle where we sit. Maybe just let me just go in this image and talk about it. So ontology is in the middle at the south of the ontology is the data which is coming in from different systems. And then we are now going on north of the ontology. And one of the first one is to build analytics, which is more like Power BI and all those tools which we have used. How different, what different kind of products which exist in Palantir, which can help you do all those kind of analytics and things. So what we will be covering today is just an example. If you're following the series, we have a GitHub where we have all the data. So in this example, we're just introducing a new data set which is coming, which has been given to us randomly by the business. And it has a lot of data in it and we don't know how to make sense out of it. So instead of going directly jumping into pipeline, we can use one of the application called as Contour to analyze the data set which is there and work through the like different kind of filtering and mechanisms we can apply to understand the data set, and then move on from there from the data set, convert that into a data set or actually a pipeline. Then from there, we will move on to Object Explorer, that we created the ontologies and the objects, how we can visually see them, the data inside that, and another application of Insight and Vertex to show the different objects and linkages between them. After we have visualized this, then we can build more powerful reports by combining multiple data sets using the application called as Quiver, which gives us different kind of reports and graphs available in the platform. And now once that is done, then we can put those graphs into dashboards or even a notepad kind of application, which lives like a Word document, but a live Word document which is getting updated as per the real data, and a Fusion sheet, which is kind of a web version of an Excel which exists in the platform. So those things would be covering some of the examples, kind of complex dashboard which is possible is some of these public examples which are there. We won't be building this complex. I'm not sure, Aaron, you are up for the task to build such a complex dashboards on the fly, but we'll be building some of those maybe close to it. Before I get started, just anything from Sachin?
No, let's get cracking, Rahul.
All right, cool. Aaron, over to you. And I should have started the recording. No, oh, I have the recording started. All right, cool. Go ahead, Aaron,
Okay.
over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. So let's jump into the new data set and see what we can do there. Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Aaron, if you can share your screen. Cool.
yeah. Is my screen sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So we got a new data set from the business known as resources consumption report. What it tells us is it gives us the machine data, like plant data in which machines are consuming the energies. So how much cost they are consuming, how much energy is consuming, carbon emissions, and everything. So by looking at the data, we can see that there are 3,240 total rows. We don't want to go line by line. We want a overall uh, visualization that we can see that which plant is consuming more data, more energy, or more cost. Okay, so let me just jump to Quiver to see uh, which plant is consuming more energy.
So this is like before even getting into the pipeline and everything. So the raw data which we have, we can just run visualization and joins and all that raw data just to understand that data itself, right? Like before even deciding what to do with the data, we can just visualize all that through a more
Yeah.
of a no code kind of setting, Aaron?
Yes. Yeah. So this is a no-code platform to visualize the raw data before jumping into the pipeline or creating the ontology. So yeah,
Right.
you're right.
Okay.
All right. So let's visualize like how much cost is being consumed by each plant. All right. Uh, we can
So we
click on
have
visualize.
different,
Yeah,
okay, so yeah, please go
we
ahead. Yeah.
have yeah we have different transforms we can do here. We can pivot, uh, calculate things, join, and everything. We can filter the data set. We can visualize the data set. We can join with a foreign key and primary thing. We can also do export and everything. There are multiple transformations available here. So what we are going to present in this webinar is I want to show you how we can visualize the data set in very easy manner with no. So let me click on chart. Uh, let's see. I want plant name as x-axis, and I want to see the cost. each plant is checking.
Hmm.
Just by a couple of clicks, you can see that we have the visualization.
Right. And that is not just like a sample data, it's like all 3000 rows are mapped. That's why there are so many things there. Okay. That was fast.
Yeah. So by just clicking couple of times, and we have that Singapore precision plant is taking too much cost. Uh, we can also create multiple graphs using these, so we can see different types of graphs there.
Hmm.
Let me cover another one, as you can see.
Right.
All right. Now, as we have seen already, that Singapore is taking pretty much more USD than every other plant. Let me drill down into the Singapore thing. So we can filter our data. We can just click on filter. We can select a column that is plant name, and we can just write the Singapore precision. Okay. Now, after doing this, we can even see the data that we have filtered. Yeah.
Right. So it's
So we
like
can see,
in a
yeah,
UI filtering the data itself. Basically, instead of we creating in a pipeline, we can just do more of a pipeline in a visual way and see the data on the path. And okay, Sachin, what do you think?
Yeah, in simple terms, this is advanced level reporting, right?
Hmm.
We're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just hide the table for now. And now I want to see what is happening in the Singapore precision plant. And let me do the another visualization. Let's create a chart. Now let's see which shift is taking the most USD. Okay. Like the morning shift or the night shift, etc.
Hmm.
So let's do that. We can also segment it by which line is taking most to see in the graph.
Okay.
That as well. So as we can see in the Singapore plant, in the morning shift is taking the most of the cost,
Right.
and in the morning also the machining is taking the most cost. So
Right.
that's where we need to focus, and we can optimize things.
It's interesting. Like we started from an like Excel data which we were like too hard to digest. We like step by step we are able to visualize and actually make meaningful sense out of it in like probably 5 minutes
Yeah,
without even like getting into too much detail of it. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So that's the power of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is running on raw data or transform data.
No, this is running on raw data.
So
So
what, I mean,
yeah.
from this business case point of view, why or in what circumstances will I run a report on raw data?
Before creating pipeline, we can see that what 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 the data or the schema we need in our ontology.
Yeah. So
Mm,
it's like listen, when we are receiving a lot of data and different data sets from the business, right?
yeah.
If you want to visually understand what is happening with the data, Contour help us work with the raw data sets. And we
Hmm.
in this we can start creating the filters visually and like create like what we did with the filter and then visually understand and create another filter and then
Hmm.
visually understand what is happening. And then I think there is a next step also, like we can convert the whole thing into pipeline, right, Aaron? This
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
we have done. We can, okay, so this we can just send it to a pipeline which will, I think it will convert into the whole pipeline instead of building that. Like so every step we are visually understanding it,
I see. I see.
right? Because
Okay.
if we are dealing with a data set which we don't even know, and the data set which are multiple data set which we are joining together, and so
Hmm.
it would be very helpful to visually see it, like from Excel to this point itself is quite helpful. Okay, now we can drill down to what is happening to the morning shift for machinery.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I
Understand.
think that's a great use there. Okay. So Arun,
Yeah.
what's next? Like, can we plot it into a line or a kind of a time series in it? Do we have time series data in this?
No, but I'm going to cover time series data in the Quiver.
There is a question for limitation on the row count for the source data. We have not seen a limitation on a row count. It just when we're doing pipeline, it takes time when there is a lot of data. But visualization, we probably have to see how much it visualizes based on the data. But Palantir can run a huge Foundry can run huge amount of data sets, rows and everything. I've talked to people and customers who are running millions of row count of data pipelines, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good.
Okay.
Aaron?
So
Yeah.
let's move on to Object Explorer. So what is Object Explorer? As we created the object sets and the ontology in the last session, we'll pick a object set and we can see the data directly inside the Object Explorer.
So
Let
this is
me
another view. Last time we saw the ontology manager. So this is another view to look at all the objects which are there in my ontology, right?
yeah. So there are some charts and different visualizations already given as a high level,
So
definitely.
it comes out of the box. Like whenever I
Yeah.
just open it, I don't have to configure these charts. So whenever I just click on it, it will give me all these chart and relationship upfront.
Yeah. Yes. We can also create custom layout charts we want when we open the Object Explorer and everything. We can
Hmm.
compare different views, different object sets of
Hmm.
machines. We can also take action on the ontology object set that we are in. Like we can create a machine here itself and everything. This is just refreshed. We can open in Quiver data lineage and everything to show like how the data is coming and how it's dumping to the next
Right.
applications. Uh, in results, we can see all the objects here. We can
So this
also
is more of a
configure.
table layout
Yeah,
of it and the columns and everything. But yeah, it was
if
upfront giving a more of a visual layout of the data if we are dealing with a lot of data.
yeah,
Okay.
we can already configure our tables like what columns do we want to see when we come to Object Explorer and everything.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is Object Explorer. Like we can explore our object sets and even single objects visually
Hmm.
as a like custom out of the box layout. We can also change this layout, right?
So this layout is by default, which is built for it, but we can change what fields show up on the top right.
Yeah.
What are different fields and everything, and we can customize the layout. And this is how everywhere its default layout would be, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. And what is there at the bottom? What is this? Like linked objects? These are the like the related items.
Yeah, these are the links of linked object sets.
So this is like under this is a plant or machine. Okay. So
Yeah.
what are the defects? What are the daily
Relationships. Yeah.
relationships of it? And what are the related? So if it is a parent record, these are the child records
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can
This is
visually
more
see.
of a more of an admin function basically for the administrator to decide the look and feel, right?
Yeah.
The previous step, and again from business lens, Rahul, the previous steps, the contour thing you did. If I am a FDE entering client environment,
Hmm.
I should be knowing the context of the business problem and the data that I'm importing before I
Hmm.
can slice and dice the data and bring it into a shape like Contour was doing, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like
the
it's
normal Palantir admin would not know what the data is, what the columns are, right? So I should
right.
have this context here.
And but normally in the business also, what happens is that while there's a business conversation, but when the real data comes, the reality hits, right? that okay is what does the data really have. So that's
Right.
where contour is helpful. Okay, business saying the data should have this, but then contour we can visually show. Okay, I have
What
data,
is going
but
on? Yeah.
like 20% is empty,
Mm.
right?
Understand. Yeah.
So that from that perspective, it helps us to quickly visually see instead of running scripts and showing and generating graphs and all those things. It basically help us do that. But yeah, like for object view, it is more of like a default view, and based on the admin rights, we can configure this. And yeah, Rahul Pandey correctly said that it is like a related list of records which are related to it. Okay, cool. Aaron, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you can see that we have another application that was quickly covered that as well. So this is Insight. This is also a kind of like advanced version of uh, we can say
Object Explorer.
exploration of
Yeah.
object explorations. It gives us by default a table view, and it also gives us chart to see that we saw in the object explorer as well. We can filter the things. We can create. We can link the things and see the data here itself. Like if I just do this, it will give us all the daily machine records. Like if I just filter a machine and then click on daily machine, it will show us that all the like how the machine is doing daily on a daily basis. Right? It also has many transforms like union, intersect, and everything. We can group by and see that this machine is doing this. The charts. We can also derive property like using links or calculations and everything. We can run a SQL query as well here. So yeah, it's quite powerful. It's an advanced version of Object Explorer.
Okay. So and in charts is there? I see there is a map also. Like if we have the maps coordinates on the data, then we can have all the data plotted into a map also.
Yeah. We can
Okay.
plot the data if we have
Right.
the latitude longitude.
Data in there, and so we can automatically just open map, and all the data would be automatically plotted
Yeah.
on the map. So we don't have to take any action. But like by default mapping and all those things, we don't have to do. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So let's cover the next application, Vertex. What Vertex do is it gives a visualization of how one plant or machinery is connected to different entities, like different object sets. Like this plant is connected to this machine line, production line, and these purchase orders and everything. And even after that, we can go here and we can again drill down to machines, like what are the machines there in the production line.
So maybe like let's hold on and let's try to understand. So in the middle, you only have one plant, right? Not the like this is not the table. It's just one plant, which is which one? Okay, Pune manufacturing plant is there.
Yeah.
So it is showing all the items which are related and linked to it, which we saw on the previous screen, right? Like visually we can see of it, and even the relationship type is been defined. Okay, is it a production line? And this is based on the ontology definitions which you did, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it can make like a spider web of it. Like you can go from like a graph from one place to another to another to another, and so we can keep on expanding to the nth level of it if you want.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, interesting. And this is what probably in the future, as we talk about the model, uses to traverse the information, right? Like
Exactly.
when we throw an AI, say, okay, for this plant, identify what are the lines and which are impacted and everything. So this is what it uses to go from one arrow to another to another to another, right? So instead of
Yes.
trying to do a database join, it has this kind of information there. Yeah.
It is being driven through that ontology relationship we defined, right, in the last
Right.
session.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the whole point. Yeah, okay. And besides this, I can filter out, right, Aryan, whatever object I want to see, because I'm
Yeah,
assuming for actual implementations it can get very messy. So
yeah,
if I have that feature to filter out, I can filter out also, right?
yeah, definitely.
Hmm. So we can group them together, and it is more of like at the back end, this data exists, but this is for us to visually see it.
Mm.
And then we can put it into more onto the object view also to by default show that, okay, at this plant, these are the, instead of like relate table, we can show a more of a visual view also, and you can probably click on it and open the actual plant from there. So it's another level of visualization for it. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I think it's resembling to something like service maps and service now, but not exactly that. Yeah.
Right. There is a question, is it similar to fact table? I have no idea what is fact table is. Sachin?
Mm-hmm.
Fact table.
Certainly not in service now.
The central table and data warehouse star schema. Okay, it is coming from data warehouse concept. Not really. It is not which contains all the primary key and all those relationship. It is like, I'm not sure, Surendra, you have seen the previous session. In the previous session, we created at the object level, there are links to which that object is related to. For example, in this manufacturing plant have purchase order from these stores. These are stores, right? Or
Yeah,
purchase orders basically. And then manufacturing plant have assembly lines. So these are different object types and objects in there, and they are linked together, but they are visually shown how they are connected to each other using the data which is there in the system. So we don't have to manually write the joins and everything to see it. The data is visually represented for us to see quickly. That makes, and that's what the AI, when we throw a model at something, model uses this understanding to navigate what humans can easily navigate. This one, if I want to go and see from this manufacturing plant to this supplier, like who has the purchase order, and then what are they, which country are they in, is that country is under unrest or something. So those kind of relationship which help the uh, models to make a decision, and that's why the ontology is so powerful to build all that. Okay, all right, Aryan, what's next?
yeah. So as we have visually seen the object set, the vertex graph and everything, let's jump on to Quiver
Sorry,
to, yeah,
one more thought or a question. So vertex is a function of ontology, is it? Like only after I do the ontology, I should be able to get a vertex?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and a vertex is based on the data into the ontology. So if you don't have data, you cannot plot a vertex graph because it is actually plotting the data which is there in the ontology objects.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's do some analysis on the object set. In the contour, we did the analysis on the raw data sets, and now we are doing the analysis on the object set. All right.
So Quiver is the app to do the analysis on the
Yeah.
object sets. Okay.
So we can add objects. Let me add a machine object.
So this is the input. We can have multiple inputs of an object.
Hmm.
So as we can see, we have all the machines that are there in our plants. We can see that the machine data is saying that this is OEFD status and everything showing up. Now let's see that which machine is not producing the good OEE basically. Let's see. We can just directly filter the data set here itself. And we can see that this one machine is not working as expected, like in comparison to the other machines. As you can see, everyone is about 6,500 and everything. So let's quickly drill down to this machine.
It's already performing fine, man. 5,000%.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the go ahead, just joke.
Yeah.
There's a
So
question from Rahul on the chat.
Okay, sorry, Ari, let's just cover the question. Do we have any intelligence? Can we intelligently plot this using LLM, something like mapping services, considering we have data but don't have relationship in ontology? So ontology relationship need to be created, and then the data can be pushed into it. Directly creating relationship on the fly technically is possible using probably the APIs. But later on in the series, we will show something called as AIFD. So we will talk about that, like how it makes it easy for us that once we have raw data sets coming in these sessions, we have manually seen and manually gone into raw data set. But if we have raw data set coming in, how we can use like a chat experience and ask question to it, and that can look at the information and tell us how to do it. So in later in the series, we will cover something called as AIFD, and probably you will see that whatever we have done in the last 5-6 session manually, how it can be done just by AI. So maybe Rahul, you have to wait for a couple of more sessions for it. Aaron, go ahead, please.
yeah. So okay. So let's drill down to this machine and see what's going on there. Let's filter out, like we have transforms here as well, like contour. In contour we have to join, but in this we can just quickly switch to the linked object set that we created in the ontology last session. Uh, yeah. So we have multiple transforms here as well. So let's quickly filter this object set and drill down
So
to this machine.
So
Yeah.
in this one, can we just ask and can it build like is there a AI AIP generate is there, right? So we can just
Yeah.
ask okay, what kind of graph I want, and then it can generate based on the data which is there.
Yeah, I think it can do that.
Yeah. So then if you maybe try AIP generate for one of the graph, let's just try.
Yes,
The machine is there, yeah. It is giving us some suggestions. Let's just wait for the suggestion it's giving us. Okay.
see what that's.
Okay, so we just ask AI, let's see what it does.
This is more of that natural language query, right?
Yeah. So I think we can, at the start, we can just pick in raw object and just say, okay, build me these all graphs, filter by that, and it can just run all that. We're just trying live in a demo. Let's see how it goes. So it's going through it. Okay. All right. It is generating something. Okay. Maybe you have to click add card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It has done that. So you don't remove that one. Okay. Because you did on that object. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's why I did that. Maybe let's just do it manually for now.
yeah.
But it's basically that's Sachin, that's what I was talking about. And in Palantir Foundry, AI is just everywhere. Like natural language, we can just ask things by natural language, and it will help us build this. Like whatever we are doing here, we could have just asked on the top to it to generate, and it will just generate all that for us.
One question there. So maybe not too relevant, but still asking out of curiosity. When you clicked on that AIP search or the natural language you wrote, right?
Mm.
What LLM was it using at the back end? Is that configurable?
So this one, I think
Yeah.
not. This one is non-configurable. This one is just uses the provided LLM which is there in the platform. But at many places we are going to show, which will come later in the series, that all the models are available in the platform. So AIP assist. So this is a feature of a AIP assist and AIP generate. This is, I don't think we can select a model. I'm not seeing a place because it's a platform level functionality. Okay.
But do you know which model is it using, even if we can't select it?
I
You don't
am
know
not
that,
sure.
right? Okay.
Probably we can ask it itself what model are you using.
Mhm.
And I think assistant functionality, maybe Aaron, we can show the assist functionality on the left. So this is also quite helpful, which Sachin we may not have shown before. So basically we have this chatbot which is working with us, helping us in the development. So if we get confused or get an error, we can actually ask a question here. Okay, I'm trying to do this thing in the screen. So it has the context of the screen we are in, data we are in. So like here it is already showing how do I add data to my Quiver analysis, right? Maybe Aaron, let's just pick the first question.
Yeah.
So it is like a developer assist as showing, right? So it will help us how to navigate the whole screen.
This, I believe this stays in every screen that we are on, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So
And
it's yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I always get confused between this one and the FD, like what are the different, when to use what, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was functionality was available before FD. With FD, like this is where like you're doing something and you're want to troubleshoot that screen or something there. I think assist will is helpful to look at the context where you are and stuff. FD is more of which we will cover in coming session. Is FD is more of you discuss the whole design and everything and stuff like a chat GPT kind of thing,
Right.
that you discuss the whole idea, brainstorming and everything, and you ask it to go and implement it,
Right. Right.
right? And like once it is done, now, okay, you want to change something here. Okay, how do I make this change here? So then you can talk to assist. Okay, I want to make this change here. How do I do it?
This is very good, actually.
Yeah,
Similar experience I saw with the latest extension that Claude has launched for their Chrome, right?
yeah,
And so you can have a window like this. It passes the context of the page you are on,
yeah.
but it does not dive deep into your database, the relationship, everything, how to build, etc. Right? It just gives you
Yeah,
the current stuff. Yeah.
correct. Because it's running in the platform, it has access to everything,
Correct.
like what
Correct.
you are doing, right? So it can tell us more about the platform. Awesome, that's great. Aaron, let's go ahead and show some graphs.
Yeah. So I
You
have
filtered the, okay, go ahead.
filtered, yeah, and we can just see the data here. So,
Right.
yeah. So now next thing we want to see the time graph, time series graph. Uh, so we have got the machine and we have the relationship between the machine and the daily machine object set. So I can just get the data of this particular machine and it will get us all the data for 1st January 2025 to 31st March 2025. The 90 days data, that how the machine was doing, like what was the vibrations, what was the consumptions and everything.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, hold on. Na. So you had the machine data from the top and you applied a filter. You got one machine, right?
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
join with this machine dailies is like a telemetry data of the machine. So this line is just a joining,
Yeah. It's just a joining, like
right? So
linking the machine data to the machine data.
so like by drop down we join the whole table and only getting that data without writing a code. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's visualize some things there. Create a time series. Regular time series. And we go just
So we are mapping that data which came from the previous filter to a time series. Okay.
we have to configure the time because it's taking the current time.
Right. So data
Yeah.
is whole time zone. Okay.
So now,
All
as we
right.
can see,
Cool. So we just quickly map the whole time series data
yeah.
in a plot. Okay. That was fast.
So as we can see, the OE is decreasing regularly.
Hmm.
So this is one thing that we need to focus on. We can optimize it in the by focusing on the particular machines.
Hmm.
By seeing this graph, we can also add another series here itself to see
Okay.
that how was the what was the max vibration it was going. It's, now you can see
Right.
that on regular basis it was going up and up and up and up and up. So
The
the machine is
vibration
now
was going
totally
up
fine.
and OE was coming down. So we can,
Yeah.
so this is pretty cool. Like based on the data, we can quickly plot and see the whole information visually. Okay. All right.
We can, yeah, if we don't want to we don't want to see that how the chart was prepared, we can just add that to dashboard so
Right.
that
So I can create my own dashboard and directly just
yeah,
put this
yeah,
dashboard chart there. And so I don't have to go through the whole filtering. The filtering is helping me to go drill into one by one, but I can just put this chart as a dashboard for me. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
also also we have uh, we can download it, we can publish it, preview it and everything.
Hmm.
We can copy this chart for the notepad, like we are generating a report for say that
Yeah.
which machinery is doing what, like how its performance trend basically. So we can just create, we can just copy and paste this Quiver chart here. And so it has I already created this report for this.
So,
And
so okay, hold on, let's slow down. So basically we were in cover chart where we build a chart and everything. Because maybe if we can go with the back to the cover chart, right? So we were in cover chart and then from there we can convert that chart into a more of a dashboard. And
yeah,
there I can start building the dashboard I want to see. And that could be my personal dashboard, which I want to see. But the same chart I can copy and create kind of like a Word document, which you did, right? And using the
yeah,
Notepad. So Notepad
yeah,
is like a Word functionality, right? So if you can go back to the Notepad.
yeah,
So you had this Notepad, like a Notepad ready, which is like a Word editor in the platform. So it's showing like a health report for that, but you embedded a live running chart in it. So this would be
yeah,
based on always on the live data.
yeah.
So if
Interesting.
my report is based on live data, like what is happening right now, so whenever I open this report, it will show the live data, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So it is
published
backed by
on
ontology. Yeah,
some link or something, right? This one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we can publish it and then schedule it as like a export on a daily basis, which is like you have all the templated thing on the top, or even the calculating thing on the top, and then it's just sending whenever it's sending, it's just calculate the data and the graph at that point of time.
yes,
One of the limitations that I found with ServiceNow, Rahul, was with
Hmm.
these scheduled reports itself, even though I can send the attachments after compiling it offline, right, scheduled, but I
Hmm.
cannot paste the graphs, etc., in the email body. It simply does not
Hmm.
allow that, right?
Right.
So, is that something we can do here, or do
It's
we know?
like email is a bit of a different thing how it works in Palantir, but instead of copy pasting in the email, it is like once this document template is ready, we
Hmm.
can schedule this document template to be combined together and sent as an email. So the
Yeah.
email contains a document which looks like this, and the data would be real time.
It would come as attachment, right, on the email.
Yes, correct. And I think technically maybe possible. Um, I think technically maybe possible, but this is the one of the way which I've seen that okay, we can create a very complex report. And And because the document have functions, so we can run different calculated things, different kind of calculations, different places, and bring all that together to have it. And having the live graph is also pretty interesting. Just going back on Quiver, Aaron, if you go back to Quiver, just the previous view of Quiver, where we were doing the dashboard, like before the dashboard. Here there was something as a graph view, right? We were working in the canvas, so we can go as complex as possible, step by step, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you can just go to the graph view on the right hand side, right top. Okay, so we can see what has happened graphically also. So graphically, the steps which we performed, which object did we join? So it's like a lineage and whatever steps is being performed. So if we have a long process, we can visually understand what is happening.
Can you zoom, Aryan? Just zoom a bit. Yeah. Okay. Is this a linear feature or that one is different, Rahul?
That one is different. This is only focused because here also we are going step by step. It is plotting all that as a graph, like what did we perform? Because I think we can like fork out multiple paths at different places.
Yeah.
Because every graph become a variable, right? Like in a canvas, Aaron, if you go back to a canvas. Yeah, so every chart which we are doing becomes a variable. And next chart which you build can be a combination of multiple variables from the top.
I see. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Right, like you got it, like it's kind of like you can calculate maybe a number that,
Yeah.
okay, how a record number, maybe 10 number is coming as a calculated variable, but
Yeah.
then you combine that variable with something else, so that hierarchy of variable in graph can become very complicated, and which can visually see in the graph, okay, how, and then you put that 10 number on your dashboard,
Right.
right? So if you want to see the lineage of it, like how I'm
The
actually
build
doing
of
it,
yeah.
then you can see it here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool actually in this.
That's nice, and especially for big data context. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this question, Rahul, on the chat. I think
Yeah.
Rahul Pandey has asked. So it's related to the question I asked about what LLM AIP Assist is using. He's saying if we can introduce caching and build harness layer around LLM transaction, that may not only help cost realizations, but also helps us on probabilistic versus deterministic decision making. My thought was for anything out of the box like AIP analyst, assist or FDE, the LLM transaction should be uncapped because it's part of that ELA Palantir has with model providers, right? But still, it's good to know if there can be any harness around this, Rahul, if you are aware.
So I think for this one, like AIP Assist, we don't know which model because it's a platform level help feature which is available. So we don't control the harness and the model for it. It is a platform feature, like building these components is a platform feature, right? So that is there. But on the flip side, where we use models while building a workflow logic or building different things, in the second session, we saw how we were building a data pipeline using LLM step.
Yeah.
In that, we have full control of it. That we can define the prompt, we can define the data, we can define the model, and then we kind of define the temperature and all those things and what kind of output we are expecting. So in those we have full control, but this is because as a platform feature, it is, I don't think we have a controller. I may be wrong, but as far as I know, we don't have controller because it's like in cover, that's how it looks like. I cannot change the bar shift to left or shift to right. So that's a platform feature how it works. But when we designed our own LLM steps from pipeline builder to later on, we will talk about
We have
how in
flexibility.
LLM we have complete flexibility how we use. So there is actually it's our responsibility to maximize the output of the LLM step
Yeah.
of it. And Palantir Foundry have features to help us maximize that also. So we will talk about in next few sessions how that is helpful.
Yeah. Thank you, Rahul. Back to you, Aryan. I think we have 11 minutes left. Let's just quickly cover the rest.
Yeah. So let's cover some of the features of the Notepad as well. We can add many widgets in the Notepad like current date, Foundry resource link. Like we are creating like walkthrough of a platform we build, so we can add links there. We can add functions. We can add object data, latex and everything. We have quite a few widgets that are helpful. We can add map, images, and everything here as well.
Vertex graph also. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, vertical. Yeah. All right, so let's just move on to Fusion.
Hmm.
Is that okay?
Yep.
So let's move on to Fusion. I have created a spreadsheet. So what Fusion is basically a Excel version in the Foundry backed by Foundry data. And we can write formulas like Excel and everything. We can color the cells and everything like we do in the Excel. Uh, it is live running Excel, so multiple team members can do continuous work here, and the next person will see that where are you working at and everything.
Awesome. So that's like we have the underlying data and we are applying that to an Excel and we are working live on that data. Like for the people who are very uh, um, used to Excel and like apply formulas and coloring and everything. So it's like a full kind of a Google sheet. And we just
Yeah.
saw the Google Docs built into the platform, which can work on the live data ontology of the platform. All right, so that's great, awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can insert all those things. Like you want to show how we can bring the data from different places? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
data,
it.
and then we can import the data set and okay, map to the ontology and everything. All right, awesome. I
Yeah.
think we are done, right? Arun, anything
Yeah.
else you want to add?
No, that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone. Please, if you have any questions. Yeah.
Awesome. So I just like allowed everyone to have the mic enabled. So guys, please, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself. Ravikant, you have a question. You want to go ahead first?
Yeah, Rahul. Actually, I was just going through one of your posts in that it was just mentioned that there are three more LLMs, the open LLMs, open source LLMs, which are onboarded into AIP platform.
Yeah.
To answer that, we can change the LLMs behind the AIP according to our cost, according to our need, and how those particular LLMs work. So I think that is something. If there is an organization which would like to use their own model, I think they can use that as well. So I just
Yes.
wanted to add it.
Yeah, so that's true, and that's exactly right. But it applies to as I explained that when we were building the pipeline example and we use the LLM pipeline step. In that, when we are selecting the model, we have the flexibility for it. But when we were
Correct.
showing the AIP assist, I don't think AIP
Right.
assist allow us to change the model because it's a platform feature. Okay, so that's the difference. And we will talk about how what models are available, how to enable different models in the upcoming sessions. All those we will show that or what all models are available, how to use them in different things. AIP assist, think of it like a platform feature for
Okay.
assisting and helping in the platform where we don't have control on the model or the harness, but there are other capabilities which we can control when we are building our own logic. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Fine. And thank you for sending out the reminder emails. I couldn't register again, so I was able to register through that. Thank you.
All right. No worries. Thank you. Was there any other question, anyone?
This is a good session actually. So particularly focused around analytics in the platform, you know, which can be very helpful when you are dealing with large data transformations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Rahul, for your comments.
Thank you, guys. Like just to coming back to that, the kind of complex analytics possible is some of the examples which we can see publicly available, and um it's not that difficult. In this live example, we have shown only simple examples, but it is not that difficult to build these kind of complex graphs. It's also depends on do we have this kind of data, because actually we need data to be for this kind of telemetry and all that to be presented in there. So Palantir, as we were covering, Palantir have like at the bottom we have covered the data, getting the data, and then talked about ontology, and then first is the analytics. So like Palantir have data capabilities, plotting to ontology, and now analytics capabilities also compared to a lot of mature products in the market. So that was the idea with this session. In next session, we are going to first build a UI to consume all this information. We're using a no-code application called as Workshop. So it's kind of WYSIWYG kind of a building portal building application where we start building things together. So once we can visualize things together, like it could be an object, it could be a report, or it could be a map plotting of an object and everything. So we'll start visualizing, putting buttons everywhere. And then once that is done, then we'll go into more into the business logic and workflow kind of things. So we can start building workflows and it, and then we will cover more AI products in it. So I will really suggest you to come into the AI products, because that's where, like, we by that time we would have covered the basics, but the AI is which it sets it apart from any other platform which is there in the market, and way ahead than any other platform in there, because it has with the AI model, as Shrikant mentioned about all the frontier models available on the platform, how we can use them, and how a AIFD, which is like a chat experience, help us build everything which we have done manually till now by through a chat experience. And then ontology can be exposed as a SDK or an MCP, where we can build products outside using consuming the whole ontology as an SDK or an MCP. So that like really compounds the power of the platform. Yeah, awesome. If there is no other question, guys, let's thank you everyone for your time, and have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you for the great session. Bye.